How's it going, everyone? Jesus here, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Honestly, Anchor is a very enjoyable platform to be on, listen on, and just a joy to be a part of this community. Anchor, come check us out. And welcome back to another episode of Reactioncast. This time around, we're going to be talking about the horror film Malignant, the new film directed by James Wan, and a little bit of a change of pace in the sense of a different story to tell. For me, he's best known for like the Conjuring films, and rarely enough, I always forget that he also was a part of Aquaman. But let's get kind of into Malignant. So getting into the film Malignant was one, I've been waiting to see a reasonably interesting horror film in these past couple months. If you guys have heard my Candyman review, you have heard that it did not live to what I was expecting. Malignant, for the most part, did. It was a very, very like oh my god, what is the best way to, like, bizarre, like, horror experience I've had in a while. It's been a while since I've like enjoyed a film like this. So the one thing I'll say going into, for anyone thinking about catching this film, I think for sure, because you can watch this movie either in the cinema or at HBO Max. So I feel this is at least worth at least a good watch in the cinema, just to get the widescreen of all the cinematography that James Wan is known for, and all the sound quality is really good. The other thing I would say is, going into this film and kind of noting some of James Wan's other films for horror, I would say you need to go into this mindset that this is not really like a suspense horror. It's more like a suspense thriller. No, not even suspense. It's like a horror thriller with like a hint of slasher in there. Like it's there's so much happening that you never know what's going to happen, but when it does happen, man, shit's a fan really fast. But for sure, this film is something to watch more than once, just to like get that grief factor. I was able to watch it. As far as this recording, I watched it last night with a group of friends and my family. We had a quote private showing. The movie itself, when you're alone in a group setting like that, is interesting because, like I mentioned before, theater etiquette, please be respectful around the people around you. But since we had the entire theater to ourselves, we were a little bit more rambunctious than we normally would. And I feel that also kind of removed a little bit of the tension that the film like kind of deserved a little bit. I did rewatch it like at 3 a.m. At home. With a set of headphones and my television, and boy, it had a different feel for sure, just being alone and watching this film. Even though I knew some of the things that were coming, it just it does build some atmosphere, and I feel like a lot of his films do this. For the most part, the film is about this woman, Madison, and she's kind of like, in a sense, being haunted in these like murders that are happening around. Like, you have no idea what the hell's happening, and she's kind of like psychically linked to this murderer going after these things, and you have no idea what's happening. If you kind of get the sense of the first 5 minutes of the film and the title of this film, you kind of have an idea what this film's going to be about. And like me and my cousin kind of figured out, for the most part, the plot of this film. But it did not deter the rest of the film, because it was still confusing. Because during the entire film, we were still trying to figure out what was happening, because there's a lot of turning points where this film had these like horror ghost elements, these like psychic elements, these like turncoat elements. There was just so much, and it was really like amazing. It just kept giving us more and more, and a lot of the special effects to kind of give this weird psychic link was really fantastic. And I give props to the effects production company that did that. That's like, it was really fun to watch that. And like there was some of the writing was a bit iffy at points, I'm not gonna lie, but for the most part, some besides some of the wonky like writing, the rest was pretty actually good. Some of the acting, especially Annabelle Wallis, who plays Madison, did a really good job playing her character. Some of the other characters were like so. I'm like the supporting cast. Her sister was pretty good at times, but you could tell there were at times that some of her lines were a bit cheesy, and I'm like, okay, but sure. The cop characters were very horror movie-esque, but they did a reasonably good twist to this. Surprisingly, this had a lot more action than I was expecting. Like I said, it had more elements than your normal like horror film. Like it's been a while since you like, if you've seen like a slasher, I would say that this has a little bit more of that, and it was like, okay, wow, we're going into this. But yeah, like the plot itself, without really getting into the nitty-gritty and spoilers of this, it's just so interesting to watch this film and like just sit in it. Like, it's my second through. The first one, it was fun to sit around and watch it with everyone and get a good, like, enjoyable watch. It was a fun watch, and we were all trying to figure out. We all got some, fun scares out of it as well. Like I said, James Wan is very well known to build some suspense, and he did a great job for this one. And throwing in some of those action sequences, we're like, whoa, okay, this is pretty badass, and like, I want more. And some of the plot twists of what was happening and what it is, like, it's like, whoa, gruesome. Like, yeah, this is alright. This is nightmare fuel. Yep, this is nightmare fuel. And for the most part, I did enjoy it. It was a great movie, and I can't deny that. Like I said, there's some cheesy writing here and there, but that can be alleviated. There's some weak acting at points, but besides that, like, the main characters were the ones that you're watching stuff, and their performance were better. Like I said before, the cinematography was on point. All the scenes were great. We just kept watching to see where the killer was, and all the shots were really well done. And the score for this film was like amazing. You just felt the audio fill you when things were getting like really intense or slowly easing you out. Besides that, the plot of the story, it's interesting. It is a new take. I've heard that there's another film similar to this in a sense, but it's been a while since we've seen this type of storytelling in kind of the more, not modern era, more of the mainstream, and taking kind of this concept into effect. So I'm glad that like we got to see this because I'm gonna lie, it's gonna give some nightmare fuel to some people. So like I'm gonna give this film an 8 out of 10. For sure, it deserves it. Like I said, it was a great film, worth a good watch. I watched it twice at this point. It was fun watching it with my group. It was fun watching it alone in the dark, in the middle of the night. But yeah, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I'm looking forward to whatever James Wan will be directing next, and whatever the rest of the writing team will actually be writing. Actually, who wrote this? Actually, who are the writers for Malignant? Writers. Who wrote this? Come on. I like Cooper. Kala Cooper. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Oh, she wrote directed it from a screenplay by Kala Cooper. Oh, she wrote the screenplay based on an original story by Juan, Ingrid, Busso, and Cooper. Okay, so they worked. Okay, interesting. But yeah. That's it. Really, it's just I can't really say much more than that. Sorry for the stall at the end. Like I said, always let me know what you guys thought of the film. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I usually post. Leave your post under the comments where I ever post this thing. If you want, you can yell at me on our Discord channel. Just tell me how much you loved or hate the film and what you thought. If my opinion is wrong, I'm fine to discuss these things along. So, thanks again for listening. Until next time, see ya.